So last weekend I bought 10 pounds of Rump Roast. It was on sale, really good price. And I cooked it in my slow cooker. And I didn't do anything special with it, just 8 hours with some water and some beef bouillon. And I ended up getting 3.5 pounds of meat out of that. Obviously, before I put it in the slow cooker, I trimmed off as much fat as I can. On the Rump Roast, on the bottom, when you flip it over in the package, there's a layer of fat that they leave on, so I trimmed that off. So anyway, I ended up with 3.5 pounds out of that 10 pounds of nice meat, shredded beef, and that's in my freezer now, freezing. But what I thought I'd do with the drippings from that roast is make a nice gravy. So I drained that into a bowl and left that in the refrigerator here for a day. And I just want to show you that if you do that, you can scoop off this fat, and that'll make your freeze drying results maybe a little bit better. Everybody probably already knows this, but if this is your first time, that's what you do to get rid of most of your fat, like when you're making a gravy. This is nice, and all this grease is nice and solidified. That's true, I could pour this through a strainer and get rid of all that, but there's also little bits of beef in this juice that came off the joints, and I want to kind of keep that in my gravy. You're never going to get all this grease, but we got the bulk of it there. So then now what I'm going to do is put this on the stove and bring it to a nice good boil and add some cornstarch to it and get it thickened up, and then we can freeze that. And when I run my 3.5 pounds of roast beef, we'll run a couple trays of gravy on that as well, on that load. So I'll see you when all this comes out. Okay, so there we have it. Here's my gravy. Came out nice and dry. And then this was the roast that I did in the slow cooker to create the juice for this gravy. Didn't really show that on the video, me making this, but I just put it in a slow cooker with water and a little bit of beef bouillon flavoring and cooked it for like overnight or something. So let's get this all packaged up and then we'll do a reconstitution taste test. There you go. That's like 8 cups of beef gravy. So all I'm going to do is put a little bit of that aside. Not that much. We'll reconstitute that after I get these O2 absorbed and heat sealed. Okay. So let's do a little bit of rehydrating. So here's my gravy. Let's see how much I got in there. That's about 1/8 of a cup. So I'm just going to add some hot water to that. A little splash. Get that going. And obviously you would make it the consistency you want. For your gravy. That looks really nice. Alright, so for this beef, do I want to do that? I think I'll do that in a bowl. I'm kind of just going to cover that, let it soak up, and take out that soaked it up really quick too. It's already kind of tender. I can see that already. That big chunk there is already gone soft. So I'm going to go ahead and take it out. Well, maybe not yet. Let's go ahead and take this out. Actually, I'm going to get a couple slices of bread. Put that on my plate like that. Drain off that excess water. Spread that over my bread. And we're going to take our gravy, which we started out with 1/8 of a cup. And now I am up to, see if I can read that. A 1/4 of a cup, just over. So I'd say 1 to 1 maybe for the consistency. 1 part powder, 1 part water. Look how that poured nicely. Let's get a close-up of that. That looks delicious. Freeze-dried gravy and roast beef. Looks can be deceiving. So let's give it a taste test. And this is lunch. Roast beef seemed to cut nicely. See what that tastes like. Oh yeah. Roast beef is really nice and tender. That gravy's got a beautiful beefy flavor. That is good. Now I didn't add any seasoning to this, so it could use a little pepper. No, I don't think any salt. Maybe the beef bouillon powder that I used with the cooking the roast beef in, which I didn't add much. It was like only a tablespoon that I added. There's plenty of salt in that. But if you're looking just for the beef flavor, that is absolutely delicious. And that's going to make a nice lunch. Couldn't ask for a better result on the rehydration of that shredded beef. So there you have it. Another great success by John and Bibbs. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you stay tuned to for the next episode. Thanks for watching.